I've owned this 2019 Chevy Silverado for 3 years now, and I'm going to be going over everything that I love and everything that I hate about this vehicle. Let's jump into what I like about it. I've got the 5.3 liter V8 in this truck, and it's got about 100,000 kilometers or 60,000 miles, and all I've done for it is doing regular oil changes, and other than that, it hasn't skipped a beat whatsoever. It gets great fuel economy. For a truck of this size, it gets about 14.2 liters per 100 over the lifetime of this truck, which is about the same as any quarter ton, so pretty happy with the gas mileage. I've got a buddy that's got a Dodge, and he's got like 18, 19, 20 liters per 100 on his vehicle, and it just doesn't compare to this truck whatsoever. Also to do with the torque and the horsepower in this vehicle, it's great. I mean, when I'm on the highway on cruise control, going up hills and stuff, it doesn't really have to shift down either. And then whenever I need to pull the boat or haul a load of pellets or whatever I'm hauling, it doesn't really even feel like there's something behind the truck. And for a half ton, I couldn't be happier with this engine in this truck. I think it might be kind of silly, but I absolutely love the way that you fill up this vehicle. It doesn't have an actual cap, which you're unscrewing and then leaving it on a fuel pump where you can potentially forget about it. But you just stick the fuel nozzle right in there, and then it's sealed up when you take it out, so you don't have to worry about grabbing the cap again. And I think this is the way of the future, and more vehicles should have a system like this. Another thing that seems really simple, but these step-ups are absolutely amazing. I didn't think I would be using them as much as I do, but it just feels like you're walking up a flight of stairs. It doesn't feel like you're actually stepping up into something. You can still step into the tailgate, but for someone that's older like my dad, he just feels like he's walking up a flight of stairs. And then also the integration that they did with the bumper is really nice. It doesn't feel like it's some weird step that's on the side of it, but the actual look of it looks really clean at the same time. Another thing I really like about this truck is the overall look of it. I think it's unmatched by any truck on the market right now. Dodges just don't match it in my opinion, and then the Fords have looked the same for basically a decade at this point. And I think that the GMs and the Chevys are similar. I think my preference is a little bit towards the GMs, but overall I love the body style of these trucks. Now for things that I really don't like about this truck and that I've had issues with, to start it off, is these upper control arms. These ones are aftermarket at this point because my other one failed on me while I was driving and just turning a simple corner. It completely popped out, and luckily it didn't damage my tire or rim as I was driving really slow at the time. But I did add a leveling kit in this truck and added 2.5 inches to it, and that's what I've been told is what's failing these upper control arms. But they also come stock. The same upper control arms that are stock with the Trail Bosses have that stock 2.5 inch lift or leveling kit on it. So not sure why that leveling kit would cause the upper control arms to fail like that. Just the angle, but still not a huge fan of that. Couldn't believe that I had that much issue with it. And another thing I really don't like about this truck is it seemed like everything was really tight in the front end for quite some time. And then as time has gone on, it just feels like things are loose in there. And I can't pinpoint what it is. I've jacked the truck up, I've shaken the tire up and down, side to side, and nothing's actually loose. So I don't know why it's causing it to feel like it's loose in there. It just feels like I'm in 4-wheel drive when I'm on full crank. It just feels like it's like shuddering or something, but I'm not in 4-wheel drive, so I'm not really sure what the problem is. I'm not sure if any of you guys have had similar issues with these vehicles. If you do, let me know in the comments down below. So kind of a mixed bag with this one. I do really like this tailgate. I like the fact that I can just click a button and it'll drop down. And a lot of the times it does just that, but there's quite a few times where you click the button, you click it in the cab, or you click the unlock button and you can hear it unclick, but then it doesn't actually fall down. Mainly it happens when it's cold weather, so things are a little bit frozen in there and it just doesn't really want to release. Or if you're backed up on a slight incline, it won't drop the tailgate because it's using gravity. And since these tailgates are so light, like this thing is just, like there's nothing to it. It just doesn't want to drop because it's at that bit of an angle. So kind of a pain in the butt. Not a huge fan of this tailgate overall. I do wish there was still a bit of a lever and you could just open it and pull down. With this electronic button, there has been times where I just cannot get this tailgate open for the life of me. Another thing that I really don't like about this truck is the cluster. I know that I have the custom trim, so I don't have the buttons here, but the idea of having to reach your hand through the steering wheel to adjust the cluster gash and then see kind of something like your fuel range left while you're driving seems really unsafe to me, and I don't think it's a good design. I know, again, that I have the custom trim, but there should be buttons here so that I can change and adjust the cluster as needed. Other than that, I really do like this cluster. I have my RPMs, which I like to be able to see. I really like having the digital speed option as well as the analog. I like being able to see my oil pressure. If you can't see your oil pressure and something's happening, then you could really mess up your engine. I like being able to see exactly what the temperature of the vehicle is at so you don't overheat as well. And then the battery life along with the fuel. Something that I really like about this. Another thing I really don't like about this truck is the paint chips. This is not dirt on here. These are all little tiny paint chips in the paint that have gone through the clear coat and through the paint. And I don't understand how these weren't reinforced more. It had the stock tires that were all within the wheel well, and it also had the stock mud flaps that came down off the front, and it still caused all these paint chips on the side. I only had about 30,000 kilometers on it, which is basically 20,000 miles. And it still caused all of these paint chips without doing a heck of a lot of off-roading and mainly just travel on the highways. Overall, this 2019 Chevy Silverado has been great. I've really liked a lot of things about it. There are some things that I would change, but I don't know if any of the other providers are really solving a lot of these issues. So I think I would probably buy another truck just like this one in the future. Thanks for watching, guys. If you did like this video, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing. Until next time, take care.